Hey everybody, it's Alexis with Create Your Future. I am back with a brand new video. Today I have an exciting success story to share. And also, as always, I'm talking about manifestation tips, how to change yourself, how to change a specific person, how to manifest what you want with any relationship. Today, you guys, I'm actually super excited because this is a topic I've touched upon in so many videos. It's about versions of people. How do we access? How do we manifest a different version of someone else? And how do you know if this applies to you? I have some common things I've seen with clients that you can use for yourself to your benefit to identify your own blocks and issues. All right, so before I get started, all the links to booking one-on-one coaching, hypnosis, all of my pre-recorded courses, audios, everything is in the box below. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. All right, so I want to use a couple client examples and then also the success story to illustrate how can you understand the version of the person, that's your SP that you've created, how to change to another one, and what's it all about. Now, I'm going to use also an example, got my pens ready, about someone in your reality that maybe fits an archetype that I've seen a lot with people. Is your person showing up not talkative, not emotional, not expressive? Do they have an emotional wall? Have you researched things like avoidant and attachment relationship theory and styles? Have you applied that to you? Have you experienced, because this is also very similar to this client, have you experienced this a lot? Have you experienced a lot that when you love, you like, you identify that someone is your person or you want to be with them, then they're not forthcoming, they stop liking you, they're not interested, they go hot and cold, they ghost you, etc., etc., etc. That's about a version of someone. Now, just as a reminder, there are hundreds and thousands theoretical versions of all of us. There is, if you're watching this, there is a version of you that you become when you love someone or when you like someone or you identify that a person is your person. There is a version of you that's watching this video. There is a version of you that you become at the workplace or in whatever you're doing for a career. Now, they're all you, right? So how do we really understand the version of the person we've created? Now, I want to say too, this video comes with a caveat. Not everybody that I speak to and not everyone that is working on manifesting a specific person do I identify that they should switch the version of the person. Either this applies to this success story, this applies to a handful of people that I've been coaching recently and that I've talked to about their specific situation. But you want to ask yourself if this applies to you, possibly, maybe, not always. Like everything, whatever you're manifesting is indicative of your mind, what you're creating, more specifically, your subconscious mind, what you're communicating to your consciousness and what is pushing out, reflecting, projecting in your reality. So this is another tool. It is not necessarily for everyone in every situation. I am just saying it so that you don't take it on and use it as information and investigate and create a problem where there couldn't be a problem with your SP. We don't need that, right? What I have noticed is if the SP is not conforming to what you're thinking, like let's say you are manifesting and affirming for more phone calls, better intimacy, closeness, connection, conversations. Let's say you're even manifesting for a relationship talk, okay? And it's never happened. Let's say you have been intending and affirming and doing a bunch of things to finally have the commitment conversation or to finally receive an apology, which I fully am supportive. If you want to manifest an apology, if you want to manifest closeness with your person, if you want to manifest a relationship talk or commitment once and for all, if you want to manifest a proposal, if you want to manifest a baby, any of these major things, there are specific things. I specifically recommend having intentions for them. But if you're doing that and it's not happening, it's most likely because the version of the person that you are associating to is the one that's the opposite of those things. So you want to ask yourself, now this takes some deep dive, some reflective work, time, and self-reflection to be asking yourself, who are they within me? So just like this client, I had asked her, I had said, the reason why he's not calling and he's not texting enough, right? Because he had been calling, he had been texting. The reason why he's not bringing up commitment, the reason why he's not initiating intimacy is because of the other aspects of him that you've also created. We need you to think, and we need you to think and decide that he is different, right? So you want to ask yourself, is the version of him that you are associating to, this is what I said to her because it was a guy, obviously. I said, if the version of him that you're associating to is the one that you want to be talkative, emotional, commitment oriented, bring up the relationship talk with you, bring up the commitment talk with you. I said, who is he besides all of that? Is he someone that you label as forthcoming, demonstrative, talkative, all about you? Other things like, right, wears his heart on his sleeve, is Mr. Communication, Mr. Talkative, right? I've said that to a couple of people recently, which is also the reason for this video. And she said, well, no, he's never been that. I said, ding, ding, how did I know? Now, who he's been and who your SP has been has nothing to do with, a lot of times, who we're creating them to be. There might be inklings of the person that you've been with or that you've seen that are part and parcel to who you're creating, but not always and oftentimes not, right? It comes from how are we thinking, how are we describing, and how are we holding them out here to be in here. Again, how are we thinking? How are we describing? Also, how are we associating to who they are in here, right? Now, oftentimes too, people begin to associate to a person and label. We throw Post-its onto people with how we think they are. Thoughts are things and thoughts create, so they attach to people. If the person has been not forthcoming previously or kind of closed off, has an emotional wall, other things I've heard is, oh, Alexis, he's being a guy. Or, oh, they're being, I haven't heard this as much, like, I think what I just said is the best one. They're just being a guy. If you say that about your person, but you don't like how they're being, you want to investigate, what does that mean to you? Because I always ask, well, I don't know. You tell me within you, what does a guy mean, right? I have a representation and a description, a derivative of who I think a man is, who I think a guy is. It's probably not the same as you who are watching this think it is. You want to ask yourself, if you hear yourself say that, oh, they're just being a man, they're just being a guy. That's how guys are. That's how men are. They don't talk about things. Okay. Right away, you want to ask yourself, is that true for all men, all guys everywhere? No. Do I want that to be true for my guy? No. Because my thoughts create and I decide how he is, guess what? Now he is Mr. All About Me, Mr. Talkative, right? So you want to really understand if you are doing tertiary affirmations, like he does this, he does that, he does this, he does that, they do this, they do that, she does this, she does that, and it's not happening. It's most likely because who you are associating them to be is literally in contradiction to what you want them to do. So if you have associated and you expect and you assign and you define and you describe, right? That could be on a t-shirt. There's a client that said that last week about some things I said, thinking of you, okay? If that's how you expect them to be, then it contradicts all the affirmations. It contradicts the intentions. They literally, you're holding them, think of it like this, you guys. You're holding them to the obligation to be non-emotional, not communicative, not talkative, guy's guy, like in this case, right? He's being a man, right? Mr. Stoic, right? Which, like, how many of us know guys that aren't like that? I know a lot of men who are talkative, expressive, wear their heart on their sleeve, in love with their wives, love their girlfriends. My husband could be one of them. This is not about me, but like, really, really, really investigate within your mind. Who do I think he is? How do I associate them to be? Who do I describe them to be? And be like, wait a minute, that's not what I want. So I'm not going to hold them to be that anymore. I'm going to change this. Remember, the purpose of this is get results, right? The answer is to think of them the opposite of that. And then all the other intentions will come through, like this client. Okay. So let me get to my success story here. So summer is definitely upon us because I have my fan on, air conditioning on. I'm in a tank top for the first time. It is toasty in here, and I feel like I'm getting all balmy. If you see that. Okay. Dear Alexis, thank you so much for your support. I really realized that after our last 3 sessions that I had so many light bulb moments and that it all led to my success story. I can honestly say that all along while I was manifesting and doing affirmations and doing intentions, that I realize now that I was also associating to the version of him that I didn't want, didn't like, and that it was the way that I had also associated to men as a gender and at large, and that a lot of it began in childhood, as we had talked about. And then I began to typecast and duplicate and create my own Build-A-Bear, because I had seen that in another video about who I expected him to be. So therefore, all along, all the intentions, all the affirmations that I had been doing weren't coming through. When you asked me which version of him I thought that I was accessing, I realize now that it led to a series of light bulb moments that allowed me to recreate the relationship, recreate him, truly change things from within, and get all of this going. I can now say that he's finally, once and for all, saying all the things I wanted him to say. He is coming through in the way that I want him to come through. And now he is Mr. All About Me, she puts in parentheses, and Mr. Talk All the Time. I realize now that I was so exhausted being the one to have to move things forward, talk about things, extract information from him, that this is what I wanted all along. But changing who he was within me at the baseline level, changing his version, allowed for all things to come through, along with changing the version of me. See you soon in our next session with my many more specific personal updates XO. Okay. So let's use this all as a wake-up call for who are the people in your reality that you are doing affirmations, and then who do you believe them to be? Who do you at the core baseline level believe them to be? Like when I had said this to her, she said, yeah, but, and what's funny about her is that she would go back to the old story, the old adjectives, the old description, and the old version, like clockwork. Okay. I said, and this took a couple of times, I said, who is the version of him that you are associating to? I said, it is in contradiction to what you want him to do, right? Like, I'm trying to think of another on the fly analogy about this. Like I've said in my most recent videos, you know, my videos here are very ad hoc. They're usually in between client sessions or before I'm with Logan in the afternoon, like today. So they're not scripted. They're not actually, you know, super well thought out. I've always kind of done it sort of like stream of consciousness, but I'm trying to think of a way that we can analogize this, you guys, if that's analogize is the right word. It reminds me of that cream word, analgesic, getting off track. Okay. It's like if you wanted your postman to deliver your mail at a different time of day. Okay. Like let's say you wanted your mail to arrive in the morning, but the mail always came in the afternoon. Okay. Now, in order for that to come through, we would have to affirm the mail is being, and let's say no, that another postman or postwoman, post person, right? Another person delivering it's not an option. It has to be this post person, right? So if you want that post person that usually delivers your deliveries, your mail in the afternoon to deliver it in the morning, in order for that to be executed and to fully manifest through, we would need to be affirming the postman is delivering my mail in the morning. He changes his route for the day. His new route for the day begins in the morning here and then goes to the afternoon. You see, you would have to change the route, change the framework that is the basis of the delivery. The same thing is with your SP. We need to change who we believe them to be at the core that exists within us. Because just as a reminder, your specific person and your reality exists within you. Your reality comes from you, not at you. And in the way of conscious creation, we are taking back being the cause and the purpose and the creator of our reality, right? So if it all comes from us and it all comes from you, if they live within you, then you want to get to the crux of who are they? It's not just like 10 affirmations. I want them to do this and then they do that and then they do that. Now that works sometimes, but in this case, she really had to change the version of him because that version that she didn't want, it had been around for a while. They had had like on again, off again, this and that and there and that. And, you know, there was lots of evidence in her 3D reality that he was non-emotional, not talkative, didn't talk about things. So while she was manifesting for him to bring up a relationship talk, I was like, okay, but like, do you think he's able to do that? I said, tell me right now. I want you to tell me, do you think he can do that with who you've created within you? And she said, well, yeah, no, I don't really think so. But like, I'm doing all these affirmations. I said, stop it. Stop it. I do not want you to tell me what you're doing when I'm trying to ask you information about what's going on inside of you. And a lot of people do this, by the way. Okay. If you work with me one-on-one, you know, I'm pretty direct, just like in my videos. Okay. So yeah. So I said, well, we have to change who he is, who you really, 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 truly believe him to be in order for the other affirmations to come true. And this is true for so many things. You want to ask yourself, what do I really, truly believe about that? How am I describing them? How am I describing them to be within me? This would be true if you are looking for career movement and it involves a lot of people, or you're being selected by like a panel of people for something. Like if you were to go on American Idol, and then the whole panel was the one to pick you, you would want them to pick you and love you, right? Being specific about who do I believe them to be? Who do I believe myself to be? And what do I believe they're thinking and saying about me and that they're choosing me, right? But this is oftentimes so much bigger and so much more detailed and nuanced person to person than just affirming, I am chosen, I am picked, they love me, they do it for me. Because the people in our reality, believe it or not, when you think things about them, and you associate them to a certain way, you're also holding them to the obligation to then therefore show up and be that for you in your reality. So that's why, it takes a little bit more investigating, a little bit more deep dive of self to really understand, what have I created here? What am I creating? What am I going to create instead? Right? So, yeah, you guys, you can do this. You can easily identify if I am affirming for this and I've been doing my affirmations and my thoughts about this. And if it's not coming through, like I say in every video, it could be that you're just in between the period of reality shifting and changing where it does come through. But oftentimes it's the version thing of people, right? And everyone, again, does exist within you. So you are fully in the place to change this. Let's get in charge of who we're creating the SP to be. Who do we think them as? How do we associate them to be? You can have exactly what you want and have it manifest through that particular person. But you want to get specific for your specific situation, so you want to think about, who have I decided, who have I embodied, who about them exists within me. Change the things you don't like. Right now, just a handy dandy tool, right? Thinking about what a wonderful, beautiful thing to think that we have come into the human reality, into the human body, where we're learning and embracing the wisdom that hundreds of thousands of versions of people exist, right? I remember when I first learned that, along with your reality is an illusion, it's not real, it's held in place by your thoughts. And those for me in my journey were some of the biggest, most pivotal moments of being finally to own my power, stay in my power, and then make it happen and manifest, right? And that's been key to at least my journey all along, is understanding the basis of that, and that we are energetic beings that are also manifesting change in energy outside of us, because everything is an energetic, atomic energy, molecular structure. So your SP is no different. You are changing the energy of the person that shows up. Okay. So let's be like this, and let's be our own success story to identify, who are they really, really, truly, and then also affirming for the things you want them to do. Okay. So I intend that you have found this video helpful and that it gives you an aha moment. Let's all stay on track today with all the things that we're manifesting in life and love and happiness, success in all areas. And I will see you guys in my next video. Celebrate yourself today and remind yourself that you are awesome. Bye.